Hello, welcome to this update for the U.S. and Canada. So let's see what's happening because we have some winter weather advisories today, parts of the west and the northeast, and there's so many news about Thanksgiving snowstorms. So we'll see that as well. So let's see what's happening now. We have those winter storm warnings, parts of the Rockies in Colorado, and in California, in the Sierra Nevada, and parts of Utah, in the Rockies in Utah as well, and southern Idaho. So winter weather advice in the northeast for some freezing rain probabilities, and some winter advices near the upper Midwest for some snow. So also Central Alaska shows some, and yeah, so be aware in those areas. As you can see down here, we have an avalanche watch in parts of the mountains in Colorado. So let's see. Heavy snow, strong winds result in very dangerous avalanche conditions with a high level 4 to 5 avalanche danger by late Tuesday afternoon in the West Elk Mountains. Avalanche danger increases rapidly Tuesday afternoon, where very dangerous avalanche conditions are expected for Tuesday night. So be aware, and also some other warnings like the winter storm warnings there in the Rockies. They have here winter weather advisories too, and they do have some snow expectations, some 6 to 12 inches in some areas, even some 11 to 19 inches in some other parts of the Rockies. So be careful. And here does show that snow in the Rockies, Colorado, and all the way to Montana shows some snow in the upper Midwest, to a mixed precipitation in the Northeast, and some freezing rain possible in New York and northern Vermont, and some heavy snow in some mountains of California and Oregon, and even an area of flash flooding still. So be careful in those areas. Now day 2 shows more freezing rain in the northeast possible for Tuesday, and still some snow there in the northern here in the northern areas of the Midwest, and some like in Colorado and those areas here Tuesday. Especially tomorrow Tuesday shows more heavier snow in Colorado possible, more in Utah, parts of Nevada and California, even Idaho, and that freezing rain at the northeast potentially, and some mixed precipitation there, and the snow North Dakota and Montana, some snowfall probabilities. Wednesday still shows, let's see, it's taking a while today. Let's see if it goes. Here, let's try again. Not really. Let's try again. Here, better. So the show Wednesday still some snow in Colorado, some heavier snow there still, and the Sierra Nevada and northern Midwest and those areas, Montana to Washington, still some snow, and yeah, so be aware. Excessive rainfall was light in California still, and a marginal there, and throughout southern Oregon, California, does show that there's a slight risk there, and they say in association with target slight risk on the upslope portions of the southern Sierra Nevada. So let's see. Moderate to locally heavy showers expected to continue through portions of Northern California and Southwest Oregon today and tonight, and deep layer low associated with shortwave energy moves inland. The deeper layer cyclonic flow, coupled with some steepening mid-level lapse rates and orographic ascent on-slope flow over the coastal ranges, could favor some occasional 0.25 to 0.50 an hour rainfall rates. That's in inches. And some of these heavier showers can spread inland across northern Sierra Nevada. Overall, additional rainfall amounts should be relatively modest but portions of coastal ranges northwest California and Oregon might see some 1 to 3 inches rainfall totals for early Tuesday morning. So, given the soil is already wet and saturated conditions of high stream flows, these additional rains might cause some renewed runoff problems, localized flooding. So, BR further south, the Oslo Parish Central, especially Southern Sierra Nevada, coastal ranges Monterey, and San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara counties. Moderate strong atmosphere river event will be arriving today, continue through tonight and early Tuesday. This associated with the arrival of a sudden stream shortwave impulse will be embedded within the transported deeper layer subtropical moisture extending well offshore Southern California and upstream over the Eastern Pacific. The GFS, the European shows increasing IVT magnitude, especially by 0Z, across coastal ranges to higher terrain southern Sierra Nevada, rising 500 to 700 plus kilograms per hour. The orientation with orthogonal terrain, this could yield enhanced orographic ascent conductive for heavier rainfall rates. So yeah, be careful those mountains. And there's the longer discussion down here, so you can read if you want. But generally, in the on-slope portions of those mountains, be aware of like the heavy rain might cause some moderate danger of mudslides and even some localized flash flooding near those foothills. So be careful. Now for day 2 shows still a slight risk. They're basically those same areas and a marginal there in California. So still be careful. Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, still nothing. Thursday and Friday, so still nothing there later. But be aware, the snowfall probabilities does show more like the UP of Michigan, some very high probabilities in California, and some mountains of Oregon, Northern California, and Utah there, and some slight probabilities in Colorado and Northern Montana and Washington. But day 2 starts kicking up in Colorado, so Tuesday, tomorrow, be aware there in Colorado that heavier snow tomorrow Tuesday throughout central Utah, the heavier snow too, and Idaho, and still in California and Nevada, a finger or two in the northeast, and a lot across Canada. Day 3 shows more there near Colorado still. Day 4 does show some slight probabilities from Pennsylvania to Maine. Day 5 still some slight probabilities like New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, and some slight more to like Michigan and New York still. Day 6 still shows some probabilities near the Great Lakes, maybe some lake effect, and more near like northern Michigan, those areas. Day 7 still shows some snowfall probabilities near the Great Lakes. So yeah, be aware those areas. And now let's see if this loads again to see the other stuff here. So there's this probabilistic map of the snowfall. So let's see. So it does show until Thursday a lot in California, like 72 inches plus in those very high areas of Sierra Nevada. So be careful there. California and Colorado show some spots like those dark reds are close to 36 inches, even a small area for 48 inches. So be careful with that snow there too, and show some in the northeast until Thursday, but more like the UP of Michigan. So yeah, be aware in those areas. And here, there's the winter storm severity index. Does show uh, day 1 through day 3, so until Wednesday, shows some extreme impacts in the Sierra Nevada, in California. So there are a bunch of places there, including some national parks and stuff. So be careful there, especially with the snowfall amount. This is mainly for snowfall amount, so be careful there. Snow load also shows some extreme impacts due to snow load. Ice accumulation, not really. Flash freeze, not really. Blowing snow, might be some blowing snow there with the wind too, so be careful. ground blizzards, some small spots of impacts due to ground blizzards, so be careful. Colorado shows some major impacts, and central Utah, even some areas of extreme due to mainly snowfall amount, but there'll be some a little bit of snow load as well, and some blowing snow in parts of south central Colorado. So be aware there. The northeast doesn't show much. Some areas of moderate there, might be because of freezing rain and ice accumulation, and yeah, so be careful those areas. And here, let's see. So there's uh, some here. So first, let's see the general patterns. So like there's the European model. So it does show like that system now bear put like all of North America. So it does show that the system moving through the upper Midwest and central Canada with the snow there the next 2 or 3 days. So I expect that snow there in central Canada and the upper Midwest. It shows another snowfall event near like Alaska into northwestern Canada, and more in like across the west in California especially. This is all today and tomorrow, and then Tuesday into Wednesday does show the snowfall keeps moving to eastern Canada and some in the northeast still, and the other system moves into Colorado and Utah there, that heavier snow, especially Tuesday, but into Wednesday still some in Colorado, even northern New Mexico, and then Wednesday, that's Wednesday, right? It's still some snow in Colorado, and does show some more snow in parts of the west, mainly Alaska and western British Columbia shows some snow. But then there's this guy that everyone is talking about near like the northeast and some areas on Thanksgiving Thursday. So the European model does show uh, a system near the northeast on Thursday. So this is already still Wednesday, Thursday actually, because this graph here is kind of glitching, but does show already Thursday a system. There is some snow throughout the Midwest, parts of Pennsylvania and New York. And later Thursday, the European does turn this into a bigger system with more, some heavier snow through New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and Maine, and then goes into Friday there and calms down. But still into Friday shows some lake effect in Lake Erie and Lake Superior and some other areas there along southern Canada and the northeastern US. And that shows still some light snow near Ohio, West Virginia on Saturday, and the lake effect continues until next Monday by the European. And the European is showing some stuff again next Tuesday, a little bit of snow. But yeah, this is just one model. It might not happen like this. The GFS does show the snow there now, Monday across central Canada and the upper Midwest, and then does show it there like northern Maine, more snow late Tuesday to Wednesday. This goes. Wednesday does show a system Thursday on Thanksgiving, but the GFS has much less snow, like way less in parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, many of those areas some snow. Thursday shows some snow near New York and southern Vermont in some areas, but not really close like the European showed. On Friday that shows some lake effect in some areas along the Midwest and southern Ontario, but shows some more in the northeast, some lighter snow. And then later, still some lake effect by like December 3rd and something. The GFS does have something on the 4th, some snow too. But yeah, that doesn't have as strong as the European. There's the Canadian model, shows the system there with the snow, central to eastern Canada, the northeast. This goes on Thanksgiving. The Canadian does have some snow, more into like New York and northern Pennsylvania, even southern Pennsylvania, and into Vermont and New Hampshire. This goes all the way into Maine there, and leaves more rain like Boston and New York, some more rain. Then this goes shows some lake effect until like Sunday, until next Monday, and then the Canadians kind of crazy with the system after that, but let's not see that yet. And here let's see like uh, the icon too and some other ones. So here, so it does have the system now, like with the snow central to eastern Canada, and the system in the Rockies, in Colorado, the heavier snow. Then does have on Thanksgiving some snow like New York to New Hampshire, and some snow in Maine, but it has more rain along the coast there. So the European is the only model like very strong with this. Most of the other models have snow, so all the models have snow in the northeast on Thanksgiving, but only a little bit, not like the European. And the Canadian, no, the Icon has a small snow system entering western Canada and goes into like the northern Rockies, into the plains on the 30th on Saturday, and goes some snow into the Midwest later into December 1st there. But there's still some time before that as well. But yeah, another major thing that's coming is the cold blast or the Arctic blast. So there are many models showing this intense, especially the Europeans. It's very intense with this. But let's see the GFS first. So it does show those below average temperatures there, parts of the north, especially in Canada. Then it does have on November 29th, Friday, a bigger mass of cold air coming down to the central US, and here for like North America, so we can see where that's coming from. So it has connecting all the way with the Arctic air there, and some very cold temperatures across Canada as well. So this is the 30th, still shows some very much below average temperature. So this December 2nd, the GFS is an area of much below average temperatures across the eastern and central US, and this connects all the way to the Arctic there. So there will be this corridor of cold air just coming down. So this continues like December 3rd, still shows that those below average temperatures later comes down a little bit, and there still might be some blasts later about the December 11th or something, but that's far out. Let's focus on the one coming now. So there's the European model, like the 0Z better. So does show, why is not loading? This is very weird. But the 60 maybe. So it does show there uh, today's Mondays, some cold air array parts of the west and some areas, but this comes, you see that blast of cold air starting Thursday across central western Canada, then this dives down and it has like on the 29th this area much below average temperatures like the Midwest, all the way south, and then this goes there and it has this moving east, and this connects all the way to northern Canada with the Arctic air. So there'll be this corridor of very cold air coming down, and still shows by like early December that area of very cold air near the eastern US there. Then this goes, and yeah, so be aware in those areas, especially in the north there, with this cold air coming. There's the Canadian model, shows it there, goes, and about on the 29th, the Canadians worse in Canada has like some very, very, very below average temperatures in Western Canada, but it does have most of the US too, those below average temperatures, and then this goes and shows that doesn't have as strong on the eastern US, but does have pretty strong on the Midwest later, about December 4th. And there's this one too, the European AI model. So this is interesting. It shows there those much below average temperatures, and on like December 3rd, this model has like some very, very colder temperatures across the eastern US there and those areas. So this would be a very chilly scenario as well. There's this other one and that shows a similar thing, but maybe less intense. But it does show pretty intense around December 2nd on the eastern US there. So yeah, be aware those areas, and they do have some information here about this. Let's just take a look to have an idea. So if this loads, because I'm not sure what's happening today. So here, let's see. They say beer cold surges south and affects most of the US. The first significant Arctic outbreak of the season will arrive at the northern Rockies and northern plains on Thanksgiving and Friday. The cold will advance further south and east through much of the plains and Midwest this weekend. The temperatures will likely be the coldest since mid-late February in the northern plains. The Midwest, providing abrupt change from the record or near record warm autumn so far, and dangerously cold wind chills expected at the peak of the Arctic outbreak. Minimal wind chills should fall below zero much of the northern plains and Midwest. Wind chills across the northern North Dakota and will be negative 20 Fahrenheit or even less, and this will pose increased threat of hypothermia and frostbite on exposed skin. Have a winter survival kit if you must travel or even if you live there. And heavy lake effect snow Friday through Sunday. Heavy lake effect snow bands and snow showers will develop east southeast of the Great Lakes, resulting in significant accumulations in the hardest hit areas. Travel disruptions are likely, especially I-95 and Cleveland to Buffalo I-81 north of Syracuse. Forecast accumulation will become more clear as the event approaches, but stay tuned to weather.gov for the latest information. So yeah, you all heard that. So be aware this very cold temperature is coming, plus the snow there. So just to show some snow maps first, then I'll dig into the temperature. Let's see here. So this is until Friday. This is the European, that's a little bit stronger, but it does have some snow starting the Midwest, and sorry about that, and does have there like some Illinois, in Indiana does have like 5 inches, and Michigan some 4 inches. Ohio, but it starts growing like Pennsylvania, shows 9 inches, 12 inches New York, and like 16 inches near like northern central New York. Into Vermont is like 12 inches, 12 and a half or something. But northern Maine, there'll be the combination of this event today into Tuesday, plus the event on Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, a little bit more northern Maine, but be aware. And if I put this until November 3rd, does show way more accumulation because of the lake effect on Sunday. So until next Tuesday, show all the way to 39 inches, the European model. And now the GFS has much less. It shows like New York some 7 inches, Ohio some 4 inches, barely shows anything in Illinois, but does show a little bit. Northern Michigan shows West Virginia some, Ohio and more into Pennsylvania. The the icon has some snow like in Pennsylvania and into Vermont, Maine from this, but the icon's mainly focusing on the lake effect there. So yeah, be aware in those areas, especially some snow on Thanksgiving, those areas, but and later be more careful the lake effect like Friday through Sunday or even to Monday. The model still have a continuing into Monday there, so be aware. Now further north, if I put this just until Wednesday, the European array has snow across central Ontario and Quebec, like 17, 20 centimeters from this low pressure system that's affecting there now. And that does have more across eastern Quebec, some 23 centimeters across like those areas, and shows not doesn't show anything southern Ontario, but it shows more there. But when this event starts going and the lake effect comes, if I put this until November, December 1st, shows more southern Ontario, especially some lake effects, some 31 centimeters more across there. And the does shows some more northern Ontario too. So just if I put this until Saturday, shows a little bit less, but that does show snow most of southern Ontario to eastern Quebec and those areas there. So be aware in those areas. And also parts of the UP of Michigan, we are expecting close to 16 inches shows, some 10 inches, 9 inches, and northern Wisconsin some. Even southern Wisconsin Now the European has in Colorado there some 19 inches of snow, 19, 18 inches, and even more to central Colorado, 2 inches in Denver. Utah has some 21 inches, central Utah, so be careful there. And Nevada some 7 inches, 3 inches, 1 inch, and some snow in Oregon too. But in California, it might be really heavy in those mountains. The Europeans all the way to 47 inches in the Sierra Nevada. The Icon is like some 57 inches, and the GFS some 34 to 35 inches. So yeah, be careful. The very heavy snow, those mountains there, and somewhere to northern California in some areas there. So be aware, and until next Saturday, does show this lighter snow in North Dakota and Montana, some 1 inch, like 1.4 inches, some in Nebraska, and yeah. So be aware, Oregon does show a little bit northern Washington, and further north does show some more snow near the Pacific in British Columbia, some like 112 centimeters, some areas 100 centimeters in other mountains, some in some islands there, but generally across southern British Columbia near the Pacific some heavier snow. And if I put this just until Wednesday, barely shows anything there. If I put this until next Saturday, shows way more. So like if I put just Tuesday, shows more southern Alaska, some snow in Yukon the next day or so, northwestern territories. From Wednesday to Thursday shows a little bit heavier across southern Alaska, British Columbia. Thursday to Friday digs further down to British Columbia and central and eastern British Columbia too. And some in Alberta shows Thursday to Friday. Now Friday to Saturday shows still heavier British Columbia, even to Alberta, some lighter snow, and Saturday to Sunday still some in British Columbia there. So be aware of those areas. And now shows some northern Manitoba too. Next 5 days, some 21 centimeters, some 13 centimeters, some more there. So yeah, be careful in those areas. Northern Labrador shows like some 41 centimeters, 29 more across Newfoundland too. Most of Newfoundland is showing snow in the next 5 days, 23, 30 centimeters. Northern Nova Scotia, much of Western Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick too. So be aware of the snow, and let's see here. There's like some stuff for the freezing rain as well. So like precipitation, there's freezing rains in the next 72 hours, maybe just 48 hours, or the GFS if it's working here. It doesn't seem to be working today. Let's see. Precipitation does show, but freezing rain 6 hours it's working. The 24 hours, so the next 24 hours the GFS has some like very slight accumulation southern Ontario, into Vermont and New Hampshire, some slight freezing rain around the next 24 hours. The next 36 hours doesn't change much, but still shows some across Ontario and the northeast, so be aware. Next 48 hours, still the same thing there. Let's see if the icon works. The icon shows a little bit heavier southern Ontario's, the freezing rain, and even a part or two of Utah mixed with that snow. So be careful there. Now let's just go back here, see what they have. So there's like the 24-hour ice. So in this 24-hour freezing rain accumulation, the National Weather Service does have some northern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, even to Maine. They have some parts of northern New York close to like 0.20 inches or something, because 25 is too much. So it does show those more pinkish areas, northern New York, close to like some 0.10 inches or something. So be aware in those areas. Still in the next 24 hours, some freezing rain in those areas. Be aware. Now the 24-hour max wind gusts does show windier across the, the northeast and parts of the west. Not much the northeast, but does show like the Great Lakes a little bit breezier, and like some spots in Maine and New Hampshire a little bit breezier across the Midwest, and like in the Rockies shows some higher gusts, close to 50 mile per hour gusts, or even 60. Southern Colorado, the Sierra Nevada there shows like 75 mile per hour plus in the very high elevations there. So be careful. Now the 48-hour snowfall from the National Weather Service, they do have this until Wednesday. Some snow northern New York, some into Maine, more like northern Michigan, close to 10 inches, or like 8 to 10 inches, and does have like in Colorado close to some 20 inches even. They do have some spots close to 30 inches, the very high elevations. Be careful central Utah with the snow, and California is like 60 inches plus, so be aware there. It's very, very, very heavy. Those mountains, and shows more throughout Nevada, some in Idaho, like Montana, western Montana, lighter, a little bit lighter in North Dakota. So be aware in those areas. Now, the estimated temperatures, it might be different than this because this is just a forecast, but does show today the maximum temperatures. It's right in the middle of the day, but let's see. Shows those days in southern Texas, and still those 14, 19 Fahrenheit in the north, in those areas there. And tonight until Tuesday morning, around 4 a.m. or something. So does show some like -3, 7 Fahrenheit, might be even like -4 in the extreme north there, 5 Fahrenheit, 4 Fahrenheit, 11. So very cold. It shows some 30s Fahrenheit all the way into Texas, like 33, even 32 in some spots. So be aware. Show some 50s and 60s in Florida, even some 70s, some 30s and 20s in the northeast, and the 20s Fahrenheit come all the way down to northern Oklahoma. So much chillier there, and some 19, 9 Fahrenheit in like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and still cold across the mountains from California to Washington. Some 20s and teens in the mountains of Colorado there. So yeah, be aware. And plus the wind chills, they will be colder than this, especially in the northern plains. And then Tuesday afternoon does show some 70s throughout southern Florida again, all the way to South Carolina, North Carolina, and some May is extreme southern Arizona and southern Florida. And some 40s in the Midwest, northern Midwest, some 20s and 30s, especially North Dakota, some teens still during the day, and it's very cold across those high elevations across the west. So be aware. Now, Wednesday morning does show like 7, 13 Fahrenheit, 17 Fahrenheit, 20, especially the mountains of Wyoming, some very high elevations in purple, might be close to like 5, 1 Fahrenheit or something. So be careful. And I already start showing some 30s all the way to South Carolina, to North Carolina, and some 30s across the northeast, some like 31, 30 Fahrenheit, many areas of the Midwest and Northeast. So be aware. There's some plus the wind chills, and shows more across the Sierra Nevadas, central Idaho, into Nevadas, and Oregon, Washington, those colder temperatures. So be aware. Now, day 3 for Wednesday afternoon shows still some 17 Fahrenheit, 20 Fahrenheit during the day on Wednesday, and still pretty chilly across the mountains of the west, and higher in some lower elevations, but very cold across especially Wyoming and Montana and Idaho, some high elevations. Still some 40s across the northeast, and some isolated 30s there, the higher spots. So be aware. Like Thursday morning, when this system will be starting, already shows some -2 Fahrenheit across North Dakota and Montana, some 10 Fahrenheit, 2 Fahrenheit across like Montana, North Dakota, 7 down to South Dakota, show some 30s all the way into Texas, some likely in the central mountains of Colorado, some like 1 Fahrenheit, -1 Fahrenheit in those purple areas, western Wyoming, much of central Utah, so like single digits in the mountains or even less. It shows central Nevada, some 5 to like 4 Fahrenheit, and some 20s and teens in the rest of Nevada. So be careful in the Sierra Nevada in California, and some 30s in the Northeast and some 20s in Maine too. So be aware, it's like 16, 22 Fahrenheit, much across the Midwest. So be aware. Thursday afternoon, I still show some 9 Fahrenheit during the day. On Thursday, even 8 Fahrenheit, some 20s across like the northern central Midwest, and some 20s, and even some teens in the higher mountains of Montana and Wyoming, even during the day, and cold across the other high elevations across the west, the northwest especially. Now, Friday morning, does show that cold coming further down all the way to minus 13 Fahrenheit Friday morning. So that's brutally cold, almost. And some minus 3 Fahrenheit South Dakota, minus 5, 0 Fahrenheit, some areas of 6, 13 Fahrenheit, and minus 3. So be aware, North Dakota, those areas have your jackets and heaters on and everything. So be aware, some 12 Fahrenheit, 17 Fahrenheit, and even some like 0, minus 1 Fahrenheit, those western mountains of Wyoming and central Colorado, 15, 5 Fahrenheit, 6 Fahrenheit in Nevada. So yeah, be aware. And the third is all the way to central Texas, some 4 is all the way to southern Texas, and yeah, so be aware. There is the northeast and the Appalachians too. And let's see, Friday afternoon does show some like still 4 Fahrenheit, 9 Fahrenheit during the day, like North Dakota, 15 Fahrenheit, and some third is all the way to Ohio during the day. Warms up to like 50s and 60s in Texas and other areas. Still some 80s in Florida, and like some 30s and teens across the west. Still in like Colorado and Wyoming, especially some 20s. So be aware. But now Saturday morning, still pretty much cold across the north. So it's like minus 9 Fahrenheit, minus 5. Shows those white areas might be even close to minus 10, minus 11 Fahrenheit, like 10, 13 Fahrenheit. Also across Wyoming, Colorado, very, very cold, some single digits. And things more across Nevada and Utah, to those very cold temperatures. Be careful with the wind chills and like frostbite and stuff across the north. Show some 30s all the way to Florida, some like 33 in Georgia, uh, below 32 Fahrenheit central to northern Georgia. Same thing for Alabama, some 20s northern Alabama, much of the Midwest, some teens and 20s. So be aware, northeast some 20s as well, and still some 60s southern Florida, but yeah, and cold across the northwest as well. Now for Saturday afternoon, still like 5, 4 Fahrenheit across North Dakota, Montana. Saturday afternoon, some 20s across like the the Midwest and some 30s, and some 60s in the south during the day, some 70s. But Sunday morning, December 1st, does show some spots all the way to minus 12 Fahrenheit in North Dakota, minus 10 in Montana, some minus 3, 2 Fahrenheit South Dakota, and some like low 20s the Northeast, some teens, and some 30s all the way to Georgia, even northern Florida, and shows some 20s in northern Texas already, and like some 6, 5 Fahrenheit in Wyoming, some areas the western mountains, close to like minus 1 Fahrenheit in the mountains, and pretty cold across Nevada and Utah, all the way to central New Mexico, and much across the northwest as well. So be careful there. And Sunday afternoon, still some 5, 4 Fahrenheit, 9 Fahrenheit across the north, so pretty cold during the day still. So be careful in those areas with the temperatures. And further out than that, there's the European model, shows those very cold temperatures, they come down there like Friday, Saturday, and shows like Sunday, Monday, they come further east. Next Tuesday, the third, shows like some, this is in Celsius, so shows some like 30s, 30 Fahrenheit, all the way into Florida, some 18, 14 Fahrenheit, those areas. So yeah, be aware those areas. And the warnings in Canada today, we do have those freezing rain warnings Ontario and Quebec, especially Ontario, freezing rain, weather advisories in some areas there, special weather statements. So freezing rain, ice aggression in some surfaces. So in all those locations of Quebec and Ontario, so just be aware, all those locations, if you click on freezing rain, you can see freezing rain, slippery road surfaces, power outages, late this evening to early Tuesday morning. So it's still like about to happen. Be careful in Quebec, all those areas of Quebec's the freezing rain advisories. Yukon, a blowing snow advisory in Dempster. You click here to see. So be aware of the poor visibility and everything. And yeah, in all those areas of Quebec and Ontario, be aware. And yeah, so stay safe there. Let's just see like one thing, the the temperatures in Canada now. So does show uh, depends on the model there. This is like the European model, but does show already some very cold temperatures in Nunavut, some minus 24 degrees Celsius, some more in Ontario, some negative temperatures there throughout like much of Saskatchewan and Alberta, very cold across the north as well. And as we go along Tuesday, there's this area like Saskatchewan shows all the way to minus 27 degrees, minus 29, minus 1, minus 10 throughout Ontario too. And then Tuesday, Wednesday remains cold all the way to southern Ontario. And yeah, all those areas. Then this Arctic blast will be building there, shows like some minus 31 degrees, minus 35 in Yukon and Nunavut and those areas. And then all the way to southern Alberta, this goes Thursday, Friday. This thing really digs down there, so be careful. This is one of the coldest temperatures so far this season, so stay safe there too. The same thing as I said for the US with like hypothermia, frostbite, and the wind chills that will feel colder than this. So be careful. So like such a minus 28, minus 26, minus 27, all the way from like northern Yukon to southern Saskatchewan to Manitoba. Still shows pretty cold. Basically all of Ontario below 0 degrees at night, and Quebec and those areas. So this is Friday. Friday afternoon kind of warms up to like minus 22, but Saturday morning still like some minus 26. Northern British Columbia some minus 35, even colder in Yukon and Northwestern Territories. And yeah, most of northern Alberta, Saskatchewan. Then this goes Saturday, Sunday doesn't show as brutally cold further south, but still in the north, those very cold temperatures. So be our Sunday, Monday, and does show this digging like all the way into Ontario. Next Tuesday, it's a minus 23 degrees, Manitoba, into Ontario, and like uh, negative temperatures across much of the south as well. And then this goes there. During the day, might be above negative, like southernmost Ontario, but yeah, you'll be very cold. And the GFS does have this similar thing as well. Those cold temperatures like Saskatchewan, those areas. This goes Friday. This corridor of cold air comes all the way down. Some areas of Yukon, the GFS all the way to minus 42 degrees Celsius. So that's very brutally cold. Also in Alaska, they might be close to like minus 40 Fahrenheit or something as well. And then it shows like all the way to southern Saskatchewan, so minus 20, minus 30 degrees Celsius. So very cold. Be careful in those areas. And yeah, and now let's see here. In Alaska, does show like those minus 37 Fahrenheit, this minus 32, minus 24, and the European as well, like 4 Fahrenheit, 20 Fahrenheit further south. It shows some areas on minus 39 Fahrenheit, so very, very cold. There too, some days less, some like 34 Fahrenheit, 1 Fahrenheit, but later this week, it'll get colder there in Alaska, so be aware. And now, just one last thing, because this video is tremendously long already, but let's see, the wind gusts might have stronger winds in the northeast and the Great Lakes in southern Ontario because of this system, and as well as like Colorado, New Mexico, because of the snow there. So that shows some 57 mile per hour gusts, the European, and more there. This goes Tuesday, Wednesday still strong in Colorado, a little bit breezy throughout the south. This goes there, and does have a bigger system Thursday on Thanksgiving, or like some higher gusts in the Appalachians, and especially in the ocean there. This goes and shows maybe some higher gusts the Great Lakes still by Saturday, and yeah, more stuff later, especially near the Atlantic there. And does have across the west, breezy across California, the Sierra Nevada, and this goes shows some days a little bit more New Mexico and Arizona, and some spots of Southern California, and yeah, so be aware in those areas. In the white picture does show there, and always in those mountains there might be some higher gusts because these aren't high resolution models, so they just show some general winds, but be aware the gusts might be stronger than this someday, especially in the mountains and with those systems there. And the system now across those areas, the higher gusts. But one thing I want to kind of point out is that the European, it does form this system there, like the northeastern, but later it goes into Canada with some very fierce winds, like Friday the 29th in Nova Scotia does have almost 119 km per gusts, goes there like to Newfoundland, passes there, does have 113 km per gusts parts of Newfoundland, northern Nova Scotia like 80, 90, 70 km per gust, and this goes away there. But this is just one model, like the GFS does have some breezier conditions there across the east, has the worst winds in the ocean, barely has anything in the northeast on Thursday, then it goes there, it does bring some gustier conditions in Canada, but not as crazy as the European. And across the west does show some occasional gusty winds in central northern northwestern territories. This goes shows sometimes northern Nunavut in the Arctic, sometimes breezier across Ontario. This goes there shows some bigger systems, these southern Aleutian Islands, be aware in Alaska, and but it's not showing any crazy wind events like central Canada, maybe northern Quebec and Labrador, December 1st, and some other days. And across the west, those systems, there might be some higher gusts in the mountains from time to time, but nothing that crazy, especially like on the 29th in some spots of the mountains. And yeah, so be aware, but nothing that crazy. So this generally at we'll keep monitoring and making more updates as the information continues changing. But be aware of the cold blast and everything else coming.